I'm gonna just now start validating my idea by building a prototype. So one thing I might include here, so you guys know what I'm doing now, I just wanna link to a design sprint video, what the design sprint basically is. So I chose, and also why I chose to do a design sprint. I chose to do a design sprint because I only have like the idea, and before I just like build the idea, I wanna test it if it would work out. I wanna validate it. And what the great part about this is, this can be like very, very fast. This is a very fast way for validating ideas, which is perfect for me right now, because I don't want to spend like much time on building a whole prototype and then go to development and then see how the world, the market reacts to it. So I'm gonna start by creating how might we questions. So no, that's maybe another topic. I'm gonna just now start validating my idea by building a prototype. So first defining like long-term goals and questions I wanna answer by using the prototype or by the user tests later on. So I will now like define everything I want to answer with the next prototype I create, and I haven't created one yet, by the way, because it's just like sounded like the next prototype, but it doesn't matter. So I try to now define the goals I want to achieve in this sprint, to know then if the users would actually like the idea. So what I think I say it now the third or fourth time. I start now defining some things, then I will build a prototype, a very small prototype with the basic level, and then I'm gonna test it with 5 users to see if they would like to use the app or like the basic idea. And after having like if it works out, if the user likes the basic idea of having this app, I'm gonna iterate on it and go one step. So I just want to go step by step and just like create the next version of the prototype, which is bigger, or maybe on another like focus level. If it will not work out, if like the prototype is good but the idea just is not like working for the user and they say, no, the idea sucks, I would not use it, that would then for me be the point when I would say, okay, I'll stop this experiment right now, because the idea won't work for them. But I really believe that it just comes to execution, that when I iterate on the prototype, even though the users say, I don't want this, in terms of this would not work for me, because if they say like, yeah, in theory it's good, but it just doesn't work for me, that's for me the point when I say, okay, I need to iterate on a prototype, because then the prototype is just not right. The idea how the user gets or consumes the information is not right, because I created a prototype in a way the user don't know how to use it, or just can't use it for his circumstances maybe. So I need to iterate then on that and test it again and do it that often or that many times until I get it right. And after that, I then can create a sales pitch. If everything would work, I will not like build a whole product now in terms of prototyping. I will just try to confirm the basic idea. And this does not mean that I build out every single screen, and this does not mean that every single screen I will create for the prototype will be perfect. it will be just for testing, right? It will be just for testing, just to get information out of it and not for having a nice looking prototype. So I now just want to collect data from the design sprint and the iteration sprint, for then going to the investors and tell them this worked, this didn't work, we're gonna focusing on making this work. So it'll be smart if you spend your money on my idea, because I know how to proceed and I know how users want it. So I can almost guarantee that the product will be successful. And so that's the plan. What I'm now doing, or what I'm now about to start doing, is starting the actual design sprint for myself. So I will try out a version which I'll just create for now, which is a one-person sprint. I will do some exercises like the how might we, and also can we questions and the long-term goal, just for me, so I have data I can focus on. But for me now, it's not important to have of course it might be so much better to have other people's opinion or values in there, but I don't want to spend much time now. I might regret this, because this might be so wrong right now, but it feels just right, and that's because I want to do it. I just do it myself and do also the prototyping myself, and then the first user test. So I will now create how might we questions, which are leading up to questions we want to sprint, we want to answer from the prototype later, and then creating a long-term goal, which is just for having a vision in which direction we want to go, which makes it much easier for me to find solutions for it. Because if I say my 2-year goal is that everyone has also a to-do list in it, we might focus more on the to-do list, because this might, I don't know, work better. I don't know. It's a vision thing. So I will create a vision for this app, so everyone else who starts working on the app knows what our goal is in 2 years, for example. And I don't know if of course I want to do some customer journey map, some kind of customer journey map on how it could work, but I'm gonna do it all for myself, as I said. And also I want to do a short lightning demo thing before I create my first concept. This won't be a typical concept. So first lightning demos are looking at the other products, other industry, how they handle, for example, I don't know, work stuff. Because what might be interesting is athletes are having a very, very interesting approach when it comes to goals and focusing on the goals, and that might be very helpful for me. So I might look at some products that athletes use to stick to their goals, maybe, if there's something, I don't know, that could be helpful. But after looking at other things, I will start creating a small concept for me, which just leads up to a user test flow. So, which means I create a small concept for a prototype for especially the questions I want to ask myself, or I want to have answered by using the prototype for testing reasons. So I create then a user test flow, which just means I create the step-by-step process. The user goes through the whole prototype. So it might start off by just reading or watching a YouTube video by an influencer, right? Because so many people watch these motivational videos where guys are screaming in their face get off your bed now, do it right now, and stuff, blah blah. I might insert a short video in here. So where they just like discover this YouTube video and then they go to like a landing page and then discover the landing page and then they want to sign up or download the app from that. That might be a flow that could work. It's almost a funnel, a sales funnel for selling my product. But that I'm creating that now, and not now, but then after the concept. And after then the actual test flow I just spoke about, I will create like a small storyboard for the prototype, which is basically just some wireframing of the basic and key screens I want to be in the prototype. And yeah, then I went, so after creating the storyboard, I continue working on the prototype. So I will then create a high fidelity prototype to then test it with 5 user testers. So with like just 5 people. And for the user tests, I need to create like a target group for me. And that's why I don't create like a user persona or do like research, because the sprint is basically research. And after these tests, I also can say that might be the wrong test target group I work with. Maybe I need to like pivot in another direction. Is that right? I don't know. So I won't spend time creating personas or doing user research because that is basically my user research. And from that, if I know it works, I can use the target group I selected first or maybe second in the iteration sprint, because that's basically the same. I can just take this target group and present them back to the investors to say my target group is between age maybe 20 and 30. They're focusing on specific blah blah blah. They're spending like 90% of the time in YouTube because they just can't start, and I'm helping them to start. And yeah, so it goes on. I don't know how this will exactly look, but it might be very interesting. And yeah, just I want to see how it goes. As I told you, I will now start with the how might we questions and can we questions and the long-term goal and so on, and maybe like draft the first version of a map, because I want to keep it very, very basic, and also might have then a look for some other products out there in the world which might be helpful for me when creating my own product, right? Just to get some inspiration on how it could look. I won't create the concept today, but I might create it tomorrow, or so I won't create the concept today. I might create it tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and after then creating the concept, I will start by creating a user test flow for my storyboard. Let me just hand this over. I don't know if I zoomed right now. Let me zoom back. So then I do the user test flow, which just builds up for the storyboarding exercise. User test flow is basically an exercise to get right in the, or get like in the right direction. In terms of what the prototype should be, where the prototype should start, and what the end goal for the user in the prototype is. So we might start off in the user test flow as the first step that the user maybe discovers like an YouTube influencer who just tells them about the app, and the YouTube influencer might be like a person who's very productivity based or very knowledge-based, success-driven and stuff like that. So we aim for the right target group there. And then maybe then the user clicks on a link in the description after the influencer mentioned the app. the habit machine, and from that link they go to a landing page, and on the landing page they see like more information on it, and then they just like discover every part of the landing page. And after discovering every part of the landing page, their ultimate goal is to like sign up or download the app, of course. And those steps in between, we want to write on post-its, or I won't write them on post-its, I just want to write them like here on my laptop maybe. That's, yeah, I don't know what I was about to say. So we create the user test flow, and that's basically a step-by-step process the user does in a prototype. And by doing that, we can say we have several stages in a prototype where we test specific things. For example, if like some copy might work, or like a section with an illustration like just clicks with the user in terms of he likes it, and that illustration might get him to the sign up or something like that. And after doing that exercise, I actually draw a small storyboard that will not be like on a very huge whiteboard, because I don't have one. And yeah, that might be like on a piece of paper just for me as a small guide for creating the prototype later. And yeah, after then creating the storyboard, I create the prototype next. So this will be a high fidelity version of a prototype. So this will look like a real app, and it might also kind of works like a real app. No, I'm just kidding. It won't work like a real app. It's basically some images put together and some areas selected that are clickable, and if you click on these specific areas, you just get to another image, and that's basically what the prototype will be. But it will look like a real app or maybe landing page. I think I might focus on a landing page first, just to see, or just to like transport the idea of what I want to do, right? Because if they instantly start in an app, they might not see the value they actually can get by using the app. And before I start prototyping the whole app, because I want to show them every single value point or every single value proposition, I just create a landing page to easily tell them what the value is, what they get when they download and use the app, and put in their data. So after creating then the prototype, I need to use a test, and I need to somehow find user testers without advertising, or like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, because I don't want to spend any money on that. So I might just have a look at like success communities, people who want to build up habits on like YouTube channels and stuff, like just contact random potential people who might a fit for the user test. I don't know how I'm gonna do it right now. I think the community is not a bad way to go, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah. And of course I will film everything I can show, or I will show you everything except me running around naked. But I will film everything that has to do with this product. So I'm not sure how I film like the how might we creation and long-term goal creation. I might just do it and then give you a short update about that. That might be a good way to go. But yeah, I'll just try to be transparent as possible. So for example, I will record the prototyping, I will record every single user test, and I also want you then to watch the user tests. So if you obviously have time, because one user test is like around 45 to 60 minutes, but if you're interested in watching these user tests, you can watch it and like get your own opinion about it, and that might be very, very interesting for you. Yeah, because I just want to be transparent as fuck and show you the way how you could do it. Maybe. I don't know if it works out, but if it works out, you know, like, or you have like a line to follow when you want to create an own app, or you want to create your own digital product, for example, or product, or whatever. Yeah, I'll stop talking now and create the how might we's and long-term goals and the map and stuff. So yeah, this feels like procrastination in terms of like when I talk to the camera I won't spend time actually working, so this is procrastination. Yeah, so can like just keep talking, being like productive in a other kind of way, in a not very useful way, but no, I'm just starting it now. The time timer will go off in every second. Dude. Just recognized I record 7 minutes again. Fuck. So guys, Jonas from the future here. I completely messed up the shooting of the how might be question and the map.